I never thought betrayal would come from the person I trusted the most. For months, I lived in a bubble of lies, convincing myself everything was perfect. But then, one message changed everything. One message that shattered my world and left me gasping for air. It started with a casual glance at his phone. I didn't mean to look. I told myself it was just curiosity. But what I saw made my heart freeze. There, on the screen, was a conversation I wasn't supposed to see. Flirty, secretive, and filled with words only meant for someone else's eyes. She was supposed to be just a friend, or so he said. But as I stared at the glowing screen, reading their whispered secrets and promises, I realized the truth. She was the person he'd been hiding from me all along. I felt a cold wave crash over me, the room spinning as if I'd been punched in the gut. How could he do this? How could the man I loved, my best friend, my partner, the one I trusted with everything, betray me like this? The worst part? It wasn't just a late-night text. It was the invitation to an engagement party. His engagement party. And the woman standing next to him in the photos wasn't me. I wanted to scream, to run, to disappear. But instead, I sat there, broken and silent, watching the cruel reality unfold before my eyes. That night, I made a decision. If he was going to throw away everything we had for her, then I wouldn't be the one left crying in the dark. I would show up, bold, unbroken, and rewrite the ending he thought he'd already written. Because sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. And this story? It's far from over. My name is Aisha, and for 3 years I believed I was living my dream. I had a steady job, a cozy apartment in the heart of the city, and, most importantly, Zayn. He wasn't just my boyfriend. He was my best friend, my rock, the person I thought would never let me down. Zayn and I met in college, the kind of meeting that feels like fate. We bonded over late-night study sessions, shared playlists, and a love for cheesy romantic movies. I still remember the first time he held my hand, how my fingers trembled, and how I felt like the luckiest girl alive. For years, our love story felt like something out of a movie. He was charming, attentive, and so patient with my insecurities. Whenever I doubted myself or the world around me, Zayn was the voice telling me to keep going. We talked about the future, endlessly. Traveling the world, buying a house, maybe even getting married someday. It all seemed so real, so certain. But beneath his warm smile, I missed the small signs. Those tiny cracks I ignored because I wanted so badly to believe in us. The late nights at work he never explained. The vague excuses about why his phone was always on silent when I called. The way he suddenly became distant in conversations. I thought it was just stress, or maybe I was being paranoid. After all, we had been inseparable. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. Always laughing, always supporting each other. I was proud of us. I told my friends and family that Zayn was the one. But sometimes, people hide their true selves behind perfect masks. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but I believed the flaws made us stronger. We had our fights, sure, but we always made up, usually with a quiet hug or a late-night phone call where he'd tell me he loved me. Those moments felt like proof that we could survive anything. I loved Zayn with every part of me, even when he made me doubt myself. I forgave him the little things, the missed calls, the strange silences. Because love, I thought, was about understanding and patience. I was a hopeless romantic, the kind who dreamed of a love that would last forever. I thought our story was just beginning, that no matter what happened, we would face everything together. But that night, the night I saw the messages, everything changed. Suddenly, the future I imagined felt like a cruel joke. The man who promised to be by my side was making promises to someone else. The friend I trusted was sharing secrets with a stranger. The Zayn I thought I knew was gone. And me? I was left holding pieces of a broken heart, trying to figure out what went wrong. Looking back, I can see the warning signs, the moments I chose to ignore because I didn't want to believe he could hurt me. But at that time, all I knew was that my world was unraveling, and I had to decide how to fight back. Because losing someone you love is painful, but losing yourself while trying to hold on is even worse. It started like any other ordinary evening. Zayn was supposed to come home late from work, and I was scrolling through my phone, waiting for his usual good-night message. But then my phone buzzed, not with his text, but with a notification from a mutual friend's social media story. Curiosity pulled me in, and what I saw stopped me cold. There he was, Zayn, smiling, holding hands with a woman I didn't know. They looked too close, too comfortable, the kind of closeness that wasn't meant to be shared in public. My heart hammered as I stared at the photo. Who was she? Why had he never mentioned her? I wanted to believe it was a coincidence, maybe a friend he was helping out, or a cousin I hadn't met yet. But the unease settled deep in my chest, twisting tighter with every passing second. That night, I asked him casually about the photo, trying not to sound accusatory. Zayn laughed it off, saying it was just an old picture from a work event. But his eyes flickered somewhere far away, and his smile didn't reach them. I wanted to trust him. I needed to trust him, but the seed of doubt had been planted. Days later, the unease grew into a storm. One evening I was sitting beside him on the couch when his phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a name I'd never seen before. Sana? A message preview popped up. Can't wait to see you tonight. My heart stopped. I tried to act normal, pretending not to notice. But every beat screamed the truth I didn't want to face. I kept asking myself, was I imagining things? Was I just being insecure? But the late nights, the secret texts, the strange excuses, they weren't coincidences anymore. Something was terribly wrong. Then, the worst moment came when I decided to check his phone. It was wrong, I know, but desperation pushed me past my limits. Scrolling through messages, I found more than I ever wanted to see. Intimate conversations, plans to meet, photos exchanged, and beneath it all, a cold, undeniable truth. Zayn was cheating on me. But there was more. The woman wasn't just some random stranger. She was my best friend's sister, Sana. I froze, feeling like I'd been punched in the chest. How long had this been going on? How could he betray me with someone so close? I thought about confronting him, about demanding answers, but fear and heartbreak tangled inside me, making me hesitate. What if he denied everything? What if I lost not just him, but my friends too? The worst part? The engagement party invitation slipped out in one of those messages. An event where Zayn was announcing his new life without me. I was left standing at a crossroads, silent pain or a storm of confrontation. The night I discovered the truth, I cried alone, feeling the sharp sting of betrayal and the burning need to reclaim my dignity. Because some betrayals don't just break hearts, they change lives forever. After that night, everything inside me was a battlefield. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. My mind kept replaying the messages, Sana's name flashing like a neon sign I couldn't turn off. Should I confront him? Should I wait and gather more proof? Or should I pretend I never saw anything and save myself the heartbreak? I kept asking myself those questions, but the answer never came easy. One morning I sat by the window, staring at the gray sky, my fingers trembling around a cup of cold tea. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Zayn. "Hey love, are you okay? I miss you." I wanted to reply, to tell him I knew, to scream and cry and demand the truth. But the words stuck in my throat. How could I send that message when my heart felt like it was shattering into 1,000 pieces? I whispered to myself, maybe it's a mistake. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it's not what it looks like. But every time I told myself that, the knot in my stomach tightened. I replayed every late night, every canceled plan, every vague excuse. It all added up. One evening, Zane came home late, and I decided I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Zayn," I said quietly, my voice trembling. "Who is Sana?" He froze, eyes darting away. "It's nothing, Aisha, just someone from work." But his words felt hollow. I needed more. Are you seeing her?" I asked, voice barely above a whisper. He looked at me, pain and guilt flashing across his face. "I never wanted to hurt you. It just happened. I didn't plan it." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "How long?" He hesitated. "A few months." My world crumbled. I wanted to scream, to cry, to hit something, but all I could do was sit there, tears blurring my vision. "I thought we had something real," I said. "Was I just a fool?" He reached out to hold my hand, but I pulled away. "Don't," I said. "I need time. I don't know if I can ever trust you again." That night, I lay awake, haunted by memories of laughter and love, now tainted with betrayal. I thought about Sana, my best friend's sister, and how close she had been to my life. How could she do this to me? Did she know how much she was breaking my heart? I remembered the good times with Zayn, the way he used to look at me, like I was the only person in the world, the plans we made. And now, it all felt like a cruel joke. But even in the darkest moments, a small voice inside me refused to let go. It told me I deserved better, that I was stronger than this pain. I started to plan, not revenge, not yet, but a way to reclaim myself, to show him I wasn't broken. I would face this storm head-on, even if my heart was bleeding. Because sometimes, the hardest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves. And I wasn't ready to lose. Yet. Just when I thought I had hit rock bottom, life decided to plunge me even deeper. The morning after our painful conversation, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something else, something worse, lurking beneath the surface. The unease was like a heavy fog, clouding every thought. So, on a desperate impulse, I did something I never imagined I would. I followed him. Zayn had said he was heading to a client meeting, but something about the way he avoided eye contact didn't sit right with me. I parked a few blocks away from his office and watched from behind the window of a cafe, heart pounding. Minutes later, he stepped out, but instead of going home or to a meeting, he pulled out his phone and started texting rapidly. Then, he glanced over his shoulder and hurried down the street toward a small, nondescript building. Curious and terrified, I trailed behind at a safe distance. I slipped inside the building, heart in my throat. It was a cozy little cafe, the kind I'd never imagined Zayn would visit alone. Then I saw her, Sana. They were sitting in a corner booth, whispering, close enough that I could see the way his hand brushed her hair. They laughed softly, sharing a secret only they knew. But then, the impossible happened. A third person walked in. My breath caught in my chest. It was a woman, stunning, confident, and dressed in a way that screamed power. She approached their table with an authority that froze me in place. "Zayn, you promised me this wouldn't happen again," she said, voice low but firm. Zayn's face paled. "Lara, please, it's not what you think." Lara, who was she? Suddenly, everything twisted again. I realized Zayn wasn't just cheating with Sana. He was juggling more than one secret. The woman stared at Sana with ice in her eyes. "You think I'm stupid? I know about you, about everything." Sana's smile vanished. She looked at Zayn, desperate. "Zayn, you have to choose," Lara said. "This can't go on." I felt tears burn my eyes. My betrayal was only part of a tangled mess I didn't understand. Zayn looked at both of them, torn, and panicked. For the first time, I saw the man behind the mask, a man drowning in lies and chaos. I wanted to run, to scream, but I stayed hidden, watching my entire world crumble once more. That day, I learned a painful truth. Sometimes, the person you love is fighting battles you never knew existed. And sometimes, the biggest betrayal isn't just the one you see. As I walked away from that cafe, I knew one thing for certain. I couldn't stay silent any longer. Because this story wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about survival. The night of the engagement party was the night I decided I wouldn't be the silent victim anymore. I stood outside the grand hall, heart pounding so hard I thought everyone would hear. The glittering lights, the elegant guests, the soft music. It all felt like a cruel stage set for my heartbreak. Zayn was inside, dressed like the man I once loved. But tonight, I was going to show him I was no longer his fool. With every step through the crowd, whispers followed me. Curious glances, surprised faces. They all knew something was wrong. The air was thick with tension. And then I saw them. Zayn, smiling with Sana by his side, her hand resting possessively on his arm. The sight stabbed through me like a knife. I wanted to turn away, but my legs moved forward on their own. I took a deep breath, steadied my shaking hands, and walked straight up to them. "Congratulations," I said, my voice steady but cold. Zayn's smile faltered. "Aisha, what are you doing here?" I looked around, making sure the room was listening. "I'm here because I deserve the truth." Sana's eyes flashed with something I couldn't place. Guilt? Fear? Defiance? She didn't say a word. Zayn took a step toward me, trying to explain, but I cut him off. "Save it. I know everything. The lies, the secrets, the betrayal." The room fell silent. All eyes were on us. Then I did the unthinkable. I pulled out my phone and showed the messages, the photos, the plans. Every proof of their deception laid bare for everyone to see. Gasps echoed around the hall. Some people stared in shock. Others whispered behind their hands. Zayn's face twisted with anger and shame. He tried to grab my phone, but I pulled it back. "You thought you could hide this from me? From everyone?" I said, voice rising. "You destroyed us. You destroyed me." Sana looked away, unable to meet my eyes. And then Lara appeared, walking through the crowd, eyes blazing. "I should have told you sooner," she said, stepping beside me. "But I couldn't. He threatened me." The room buzzed with disbelief. Zayn's mask crumbled completely. "I never meant to hurt you," he pleaded, voice cracking. "I was lost. I made mistakes." But his words fell flat. "I trusted you," I said, voice breaking, "and you shattered everything." Tears welled up, but I refused to let them fall. That night, I wasn't just a broken girl. I was a woman reclaiming her power. As I walked away from that party, head held high, I realized something. Sometimes, the greatest betrayal can lead to the strongest rebirth. And this was just the beginning of my story. The days after the engagement party were a whirlwind of emotions. Shock, relief, anger, and an unexpected sense of freedom. Zayn tried calling me, begging for forgiveness, promising to change. But I had already made my choice. I blocked his number and deleted every trace of him from my life. It wasn't easy. He had been my world for so long, but I knew I deserved better. Sana disappeared too, cutting off contact like she never existed. The betrayal stung, but it was nothing compared to the relief of finally seeing the truth. The people around me, friends, family, even strangers, offered support in unexpected ways. Some were shocked. Others were quietly proud of me for standing up and speaking out. Most importantly, I started rebuilding myself. I took up old hobbies I'd abandoned. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected. And slowly, I learned to love myself again. One evening, as I sat in my favorite cafe, sipping coffee and watching the world go by, a text popped up on my phone. It was from a new number. "Hey, I don't know your story, but I believe in second chances. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." I smiled softly, feeling warmth spread through my chest. Maybe this was the start of something new, something real. Looking back, I realized that betrayal, no matter how deep, can't define who we are. Sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. But sometimes it's through that pain we find our true strength. I'm not the same person I was before. I'm stronger, wiser, ready to face whatever comes next. And as for Zane and the life we once shared, that chapter is closed, because I'm finally free.